Today we are going to talk about AWS EC2 instance, your first virtual server on AWS cloud. Did you know that AWS powers 30% of entire global cloud infrastructure market? This is massive. One vendor and 1/3 of the global cloud infrastructure market. And did you know that over 145 million websites run on Amazon EC2 instance, Amazon global infrastructure? AWS has nearly 20 million kilometers of fiber optic cabling, which is really massive. That means AWS has a very powerful global infrastructure. Because of that, 1/3 of the business worldwide rely on AWS global infrastructure. If you are new here, I am Chris from iCloud Excel. I'm ex-Amazonian. I have spent over 23 years working in IT infrastructure and AWS cloud technologies, including over a decade in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, helping organizations to build solutions on AWS cloud. On this channel, I help you master on AWS cloud, DevOps, AI through simple explanations, real-world scenarios, and hands-on learning. Now you may be asking, why even EC2 exists? The traditional hosting means buying expensive hardware. It takes a couple of weeks for installation and it doesn't have option to instant scaling. For scaling, again, you have to wait for 2-3 months, buy hardware and then scale up or scale out. For EC2, you just rent AWS Global Compute and you pay for that renting time and you are good to go. And you can create EC2 instance under 60 seconds and pay only for what you use. What you're going to learn in this video: what EC2 is, core components of EC2, and AWS ecosystem for EC2, and real world use cases. The EC2 name itself, it tells that what kind of service it provides. E for elastic, that means instantly you can scale that server. Then C for compute, it gives you CPU and RAM, the engine that runs your code. Then C for cloud, these instances live in AWS cloud, Amazon's remote secure data centers. Let's talk about some EC2 core pillars. 4 core pillars it has. AMI, you have to provide AMI to create an EC2 instance. This is nothing but it's an operating system blueprint. It can be Linux or Windows. Then you provide instance type. This is like a t-shirt size instance type. So you have a class like T2, M5, that's the class name. And then you have a t-shirt size, small, mini, micro. So based on that compute need, you choose that instance type. Then you provide EBS volume. This is nothing but a virtual hard drive. It stores your operating system and additional data. Then you provide security group. This is your digital firewall. It controls who can get in and access the services running in EC2 instance. And you can also allow who can access your EC2 instance. That means SSH or access to that server itself. Mainly these 4 information you provide, and if you hit click launch, it's gonna launch your EC2 instance under 60 seconds. And I'm gonna show you and demonstrate you that how you can create EC2 instance under 60 seconds. Let's talk about some real world scenarios. The Netflix, it scales up thousands of servers at a certain time and scales down at certain time when peak is down, right? EC2 has an auto scaling software concept. This auto scaling allows you to scale out and scale in when you need it. Then Airbnb created bunch of memory optimized instances to process millions of complex search queries in lightning fast RAM. And they also analyzes data to understand what is the people's renting behavior, and based on that they design their business. And if you are fast growing startup, you just launch your applications. If it goes viral, you scale out. Business goes down, you terminate your business and you terminate that EC2 instance as well. So it is that much flexible. You pay the amount of time you use it. So these are the mainly 3 key business use cases I see very frequently. Now, when you work with EC2, there are some traps you need to remember. Some EC2 instance has a instance store that will tell Amazon website itself will tell you which instance has a instance store. This instance store actually stores temporary data. If you stop that instance and start it, you will lose the data, because this storage is attached to the hardware, the EC2 instance hardware. When you stop and start, it will start the EC2 instance in another hardware. That disk is not available anymore. It's a new disk now, so you lose data. But generally, if you create a EC2 instance, you go with EBS volume. If you store your data in EBS volume, if you start and stop, or stop and start the EC2 instance, you're not going to lose the data. Data actually persists. Even if you terminate that EC2 instance, still data persists, because EBS volume can be stored as an unattached, right? So remember this point: instance store is temporary, EBS is persistent. Another trap is AWS has a shared responsibility model. When you create a EC2 instance, AWS takes care of security of the cloud, underlying hardware and everything, but you and I as a user have to maintain security in the cloud. Patching is our responsibility as a user, security firewall configuration is our responsibility, and protect that server from getting hacked is our responsibility. So security in the cloud is our responsibility as a user, and security of the cloud is AWS's responsibility, Amazon's responsibility of the cloud. So remember this point. This is very important for the real world project, and also important for your certification exam if you are working towards that. If you think about life before EC2 and after EC2, before EC2, buy servers, wait for a couple of weeks, and fixed capacity. You can't scale instantly. After EC2, rent instantly, pay per second, and infinite scale. You can scale immediately when you want it, and scale up and scale down, scale out and scale in, whatever you want to do it. Let me demonstrate you how you can create a EC2 instance under 60 seconds. Here I am on the console. EC2 is very frequently used, so I saved it as a favorite. I'm gonna click EC2 instance. Here I am on the console, EC2 instance. Click on the instance, and right side you see the launch instance. I already created 2 instances. I already terminated. So launch instance, this is gonna be the new. I'm gonna say YouTube demo. All right, and here I'm going to select the operating system, the Amazon Linux. Here it is. By default it is selected. You can go for other operating system you see. And instance AMI is basically Amazon Linux 2023 kernel 6. This AMI by default select. I'm not gonna change this. And then this is the instance type. As I said, T3 is the class. Micro, this is a size like a t-shirt size. So micro, small, that is a size you have to choose. And if you click on the drop down, you will see the different instance type and size. This is T3 small. Small is the size, T3 is the class. If you go down, you will see so many instances, and if you see some odd name, you will understand better. C8A, this is a class or family, and 8x large is the size. It's like a t-shirt size again. So we're not gonna go for that high-end EC2 instance. We're gonna just do T2 micro. All right, T2 micro, instance type. Now I'm gonna choose a key pair because I'm gonna log into the EC2 instance. Key pair, network by default. I'm not gonna choose anything. So security firewall is our responsibility, as we are maintaining the shared responsibility model. Anywhere is not allowed. My IP, I'm allowing instance login or access from my system IP only, my laptop IP only. That's all you need to do. You see the EBS volume storage 8 GB already, it's selected. GP3 is the EBS volume, and there is no instance store with this instance, so you will not see any instance store, but some instance type has an instance store, so you can leverage instance store if you want to make faster process and finish the job early. So that's the benefit of instance store. Before click launch, you just verify whatever you chose. Software image AMI, this is the Linux AMI we chose. T2 micro instance type. Firewall security group we selected and changed that firewall rule as well. Storage volume 8 GB. We're good to go. I'm gonna say launch instance. So it is launching, and if I click instances, you will see that it's pending status. So I'm gonna wait for a couple of seconds, maybe maximum 50 seconds. I promised you 60 seconds, right? So I'm gonna watch that time, and I'm gonna start a timer. After 50 seconds, I'm gonna try log into that instance. So I'm starting a timer. on my iPhone. Let's see. And I'm gonna keep on refreshing, see how it is progressing. You see it says running and still it is initializing. Status check says that. And if you want to see more detail on status check, you click on the status alarms. Definitely you select that instance, otherwise this menu will not come. So status and alarms, and here you see still it's initializing, but I can get that IP of that instance. This is a public IP, so public IP, I got it. So if you are interested, this instance is actually created inside a default VPC, and default VPC has a public subnet by default, so automatically it is landed in the public subnet. So that's why it got the public IP, and now we can access that instance from my laptop. Let's see, here is my PEM key, the SSH key. So SSH minus I, and this is the PEM key, and EC2 user @ that IP. EC2 user is a standard user for the EC2 instance. Don't worry about it. This is a standard username that's fixed. You cannot change unless you create another new instance. Another new user inside the instance. So if I hit enter, there you go. It is ready for login. LSBLK, I will see the EBS volumes here. You see these are the volumes I have: root volume and boot volume. We logged into the EC2 instance. Now you know how easy it is to create a EC2 instance. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about something which is going to change how fast you can grow on AWS. I have built a private community called 10x AWS Builder, and it is not just another Facebook group or Discord server or WhatsApp group with a lot of noise. This is focused and professional community built specifically for people like you, people who are serious about building their AWS career, passing their certifications, getting hired or promoted to the next cloud role. Here is what you get the moment you sign up: weekly live Q&A calls. Ask me anything about AWS, certifications, jobs. This will be live Q&A weekly sessions. I hold that Zoom call and you get answer instantly, and we can brainstorm as well on your problem, and you get direct mentorship. I will personally help you to build your learning roadmap, your certification path, fix your gaps, and keep you accountable for your goals. And I will guide you on this every step of the way. Third thing, you get 24/7 community access. At night 11 PM you got a questions, just post your questions. Our community never sleeps. Someone from your community member will answer it, and you get peer network of serious AWS learners. The people who join 10x AWS Builder, they are not here to watch passively. They are building, certifying, and landing cloud jobs. And that energy is contagious. Link in the description below. I will see you in the community. Let's go back to our presentation. Hands-on demonstration is done. If you never created before, you must go ahead and create EC2 instance right now. It will give you confidence and clarity. 5 things you remember before you go. Number 1, it is an infrastructure as a service. When you create a EC2 instance, it is an infrastructure as a service. You manage operating system and software. AWS manage physical hardware. Then you go for pay as you go model. Build for seconds, turn it off, stop paying. As simple as that. AMIs are blueprint templates used to launch your server's operating system. So AMIs is nothing but this is a blueprint operating system with all other files. And security groups are basically stateful firewall. Stateful firewall means if you allow in traffic, automatically out traffic is allowed. So it is stateful. What is stateless then? Stateless is if you allow in traffic, you have to allow out traffic as well. So unless you allow, the out traffic will not go, right? So this is stateful. Security groups are stateful, control all traffic in and out for your instance. Then it is fully elastic. Scale up or down, scale out or scale in. Scale out or scale in means you can increase number of EC2 instance and then you can decrease number of EC2 instance. Scale up means same EC2 instance family, you can go up larger size and you can come down smaller size. That's a full elastic model for EC2 instance you can go for. If you like this video on EC2 instance, definitely you like and subscribe my channel if you want to follow this kind of content. If you have any questions, you comment below. If you are ready to build a EC2 instance, definitely you comment below, I am ready to build. Thank you so much for joining this video. If you got time, join me in the next piece.